Hello and welcome to Noita, a game where everything can and will kill you in the most expected and unexpected ways. This game provides very little in how everything works, and the brutal difficulty and unpredictability of this game can put off many players. However, fret not, for where there is a will, there is a way. Good day to you. My name is Craze, and this is going to be the first of many videos in what I hopefully will be a series of informative videos discussing the ins and outs of Noita and its many mechanics and systems, and how to tackle the multitude of challenges that this game can present, with a focus on helping newer players who are new to the game or have not obtained their first set of wins, or players who have completed the game a first couple times and want to start expanding their quest for knowledge. This first entry here will be focused purely on the primary early game, focusing on the first few areas that the player will go through and provide insight and knowledge on what to look out for, what to be cautious of, and what you should and should not do in most situations as they come up, should they come up. This will also be done live here, as you can see, spinning my thing around, to provide my personal insight on how I would approach things. I will also attempt to avoid any potential spoilers or secrets directly, though I may hint at them if they come up. This is a game where cautious exploration can be rewarding and can open up many paths of adventure and discovery for the would-be wizard. Before we start, I want to give a shout out to Fury Forge, Let's Suffer Together, and Dunk or Slam. These three individuals have provided myself and the Noita community with a lot of knowledge and insight on what this game can and cannot do, and what you can and cannot be allowed to do, and have spread it for others to learn and use of their own accord. If you have not looked into their content, I would highly recommend it, as they have given me a lot of insight on help to get through many of the challenges that this game prevents, and I only wish to return with the same. So with all that said, let's go ahead and start here at the start. Entrance to the mines. Before we go in here, I want to do, the first thing we should do is check what our gear is. We have a starting wand, 2 energy spheres, an explosive wand that has spawned with firebolts, and a chaotic polymorphine. So, before we even really go into the mines, the first thing that I would recommend is your potion specifically. If it is not water, get rid of it. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to dump it. Anything that is not water, when you start out, should be just removed immediately if you're a newer player. The reason being is because water is, for all intents and purposes, your lifeblood in this game. If you don't have water in some capacity, you're gonna have a bad time. So we're gonna grab a little bit right there, not a lot. We grabbed some, only 1%. And as we come through here on our entrance into the mines, we're gonna try to grab as much water as we can off the ground right here, and hopefully we can find a puddle of water early on in here to fill our flask up. As we're going through here trying to find our water, oh, look at that modifier for all this water. So there's gonna be a lot of water in here. Let me go ahead and turn this volume down just a smidge. This might be a bit loud. Sorry for this. Very professional, I swear. As we are going through, looking for water to fill out our flask, let's talk about what you should and should not do here in the early game. What you should do early game, especially here in the first stage, is find as many wands and as resources as you possibly can, and try to get as much gold as you possibly can while exploring everything and everywhere. You also want to try to grab as much heart and health as you can if you find them. That's great. Sometimes the game is very brutal and will never give you anything in terms of a heart pickup or even wands, and that's kind of just something you kind of have to deal with. That is just the nature of Noita, but fret not, there is always a way to get through. So right here, we filled up our water. We have a full water flask, and we have another flask here, chaotic polymorphine. We started with chaotic polymorphine, and I dumped it out immediately. Chaotic polymorphine, or polymorphine in general, for a newer player, just don't mess with it. It's scary, it's dangerous, it can very quickly lead to a very bad situation. So if you see polymorphine of any kind, just ignore it. As we move right along, we have what is here, the peaking of a heart container. There's also a lot of explosions going down below us. So we're going to try to dig our way in here with this firebolt one that we started with. It's going to be a bit, but we should be able to get through pretty quickly. More should be... There we go. Please do here. Got some extra health. That's very nice. Over here we got another potion. It's another polymorph. Don't want to touch it. Very dangerous, very deadly. So we're gonna ignore it. So, we have our water, we got some health, we need to find some wands. We got a wand down here. I'm gonna go down and try to snag it up. Hopefully it has something usable, while also dealing with any enemies that we run into. As we move right along and kill everything around in our path, let's go ahead and talk about some of the core mechanics of this game. So, first core mechanic, and the one that is probably going to be the most important, is going to be stains. What is a stain? A stain is anything that is basically a passive buff or debuff that is applied to your character. So in this case, right now, we have this water droplet above my head. This is a stain, and this stain wets my clothes, protecting you from fire. This is why having water is so important. It prevents you from getting set on fire. Ideally, no matter where you go, you should always have water on you, or blood. Some kind of blood or water should be doused on your person at all times if you can afford to do so. Reason being is it will prevent you from getting set on fire. Fire will do a lot of your damage, and it will quickly add up much faster than you expect it to. So definitely be aware of that. There are a plethora of other stains in the game. Some are beneficial, but many are more so a hindrance, and you need to be aware of what they all do. As we come into contact with other different forms of stains, I will definitely make comments on them and explain what they do and don't do. But for the most part, just understand that if it's not water, treat it as a debuff, and you should try to get rid of it as soon as you possibly can. So we're going to go ahead and let this oil burn away. Since we're waiting for that, I guess I can explain oil. Oil is another stain. Oil will make you slippery and more flammable. So it's basically the complete opposite of what water does. As you can see here, I'm doing just kind of as a visual example. Oil is making me slippery all around, kind of like an ice level from any other game that you would normally play. Gonna wash that off. And while you have oil on you, you'll be extremely susceptible to flames. So, for example, I have this water debuff on me, or water buff on me. Stain, pretty filled up. If I step on this water, or fire, I'm not catching on fire. Let me go up and reapply it. Get my water back up. Come back down. And on fire. I'm not getting caught on fire. So, very important to have. So we're going to grab this one. It is a shuffle wand with 3 bouncing bolts that shoots so fast that it basically shoots all 3 at once. So, I think we're going to... we'll hold on to that. I think I'm still going to use our primary one that we started with. And we're going to go ahead and keep on going. So we've got ourselves some wands now. Got another one right here. I'm going to pick that up and just move it on. Going to take a peek at it. Okay, got an energy sphere. Energy sphere is a pretty good spell to have. We started with it. And we're just going to go ahead and move on along. So we have some wands. And we have our water flask. What should be our primary goal now here in the mines? So, my personal opinion, the primary goal when you're in this first stage, the early stage, should be to aim for 400 gold. I would say 600 is what you absolutely want to aim for, but sometimes the game is just not going to give you the chance to get that much gold, either because you play sloppily or there's just not enough enemies. But 400 gold should be acquired pretty easily. And I would say if you can aim for it, go for the 400 gold. If you start getting low on health, just leave. It's fine. But definitely aim for 400 when possible. So, right here, we actually have a pretty good example of another mechanic in the game that I can hopefully present with a good example. So, there's always a way to kill enemies in these games. If you see here, when I'm shooting the enemies directly and dealing with them, they will die and they will drop a gold nugget. However, if you were to kill the enemy in a way that is not directly tied to you, i.e. this minecart, if I can squeeze it down here, and kill someone else by kicking an item at them, for example, again, this minecart, we're just going to try to do so, they will drop 2 gold instead of 1. Nope, you killed 1 guy, there's 2. Let's see if we can maybe get 1 more guy. Wanna kill him? Oh, he's gonna be... Oh, oh. There we go. See, one guy, 2 gold. This is called a trick kill. A trick kill will always yield double the amount of gold that that enemy would normally drop. This is something that you should try to make use of whenever you can. So, the idea of going for these kind of kills, depending on the way that you're tackling them, can be very dangerous and very scary. So, when the opportunity presents itself, definitely aim for it, but don't make it your primary way of obtaining gold. So, that was tricks. Now let's talk about alchemy. Alchemy is its own can of worms and can be its own video in and of itself. But for the sake of this video, we're going to talk about one combination of materials for this alchemy that I feel like everyone should know and is very important. So this green glue is toxic sludge, and we have water. If you spray water in toxic sludge, and then let's just stir it up a bit with our wand, it will dilute itself into more water. This is one of the earliest forms of alchemy that you'll run into, and arguably the most important one that you should know, just because toxic sludge is everywhere in the world of Noita. And being able to get rid of it through just water will be extremely important. So, we've got our wands, we got some basic materials, we've covered a couple of the basic core mechanics of the game. We're just gonna go ahead and move along. Try to find some more, try to find a couple more enemies and deal with them. Oh. Okay, so this guy is a pretty notable enemy. Now, in the mines, which is where we are right now, the first stage in the game, this guy will not normally spawn. He will only spawn if you have the wet modifier for the stage. So if you see these metal faucet looking thingies spawning around the stage, this guy down here can spawn. He's killing himself by drowning, so I'm just gonna let him deal with that. This guy is very thick for this stage. He has, I think, roughly like 80, 90 health. He has a lot of health. He can be very hard to deal with. And his attack is a red ball that you shoot at me that will apply a curse to the player or whatever it targets, which will spawn a rain cloud above them that will periodically shoot lightning. So, similar to how water counters fire, electricity conducts in water. And because it's a rain cloud, you're going to be wet, and then it'll shoot lightning at you eventually. It will basically one-tap you at this stage in the game. The projectile is not super hard to avoid, and if you do get hit by it, you can just move left and right continuously, and you will just avoid it entirely. But just be very cautious if your modifier for the stage is this wet metal stuff right here, because you might run into him, and he could be very unexpected and not be ready for him. So, I'm gonna go ahead and keep moving along. We almost have 400 gold. We have another wand here. Ooh, we have a froggy. And as we go along, we have another stage with another modifier. This place lingers in darkness. That modifier basically means that even though I've explored an area, if I come back to the other stage or the other location, you can see that this entire area is lit up because I've explored here. An area lingered in darkness will always cover itself back up when you leave its location. So, as I come in here and try to explore around, it will shroud itself back in darkness. So, here we have another pretty notable enemy in the early stages. This is specific... That works, I guess. So that guy was a Molotov thrower. He only spawns in this second area, the side area of the mines. Similar to the water curse dude that we found earlier that drowned. He is very thick, a little bit thicker than most enemies, as you can see here. Can take a bit to deal with, but he does drop a decent fair bit of gold. Ow. Oh. Go ahead and grab that. We have another guy right here, also a pretty notable enemy. This guy can spawn in both this area and the starting area over here. I'm not going to dig my way towards him because he's kind of just out of the way. But this guy can be very dangerous if you are not aware of how to handle him. So this lad, when you shoot him, will bleed acid, and when he dies, he will explode in a ball of acid. Acid is basically lava or any other kind of very dangerous substance, and it does a lot of damage and will quickly, and I do mean quickly, rip away all of your health if you get hit by it. So, in the situation that I am in right now, assuming he could get to me, this is a good spot. You want to be above him or on level with him before you start shooting him. That way you can avoid as much acid as possible. When he gets low on health, he will spawn 2 toxic sludge spitter dudes. But they will typically just die in the pursuing explosion from him. So in most cases, you don't really have to worry about them. If you shoot him like once or twice, once he spawns those guys, he'll probably explode and take those 2 guys with him. So, you see this guy? Don't be underneath him directly. Be to the side of him. Be above him before you start shooting him. He can drop a decent bit of gold, but because he drops acid as well on death, you're not likely to get that gold. It's kind of unfortunate, but it's whatever. So, we're going to go ahead and swing on around. This wand is completely blocked off from my location. That's a bit unfortunate, but it looks of it, yeah. So, we're going to go ahead and drink some of this Berserkium that we picked up earlier. Berserkium will let you do double damage for whatever's all of your spells. And for explosive spells specifically, I believe it will double their explosive radius as well. Can be very useful for digging into stuff, but if you have a bigger explosive starting spell like a bomb or TNT, be very cautious when you're mixing it with Berserkium. And as always, make sure you're just doused up in water. As you can see right there, I was way too close. I did almost 40 points of health just for shooting, basically. So, I should be enough. If I accidentally myself again, I should be fine. But Berserkium is worn off, so it's fine to just shoot this in here. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this one. We got TNT. TNT is very useful, so we're just gonna go ahead and grab that. And I'm getting a little bit low on health now. I did hit my 400 gold goal that I wanted. So we're just going to go ahead and bounce on out of here. We could definitely explore more. But in the case that I am in right now, I'm not feeling comfortable to keep exploring. At least not as a newer player. If I was a newer player, I would not be comfortable exploring more. I would want to just kind of get on out of here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to be very cautious as we go down. When you want to leave the area, you go down. Kind of keep myself doused up in water. Well, ooh. So, here's one of those guys that I mentioned. I really don't want to deal with him. Because I don't have the health to afford getting a hit. So I'm just gonna go a long way around. Sometimes leaving and going the long way around. Oh, here's another one. Actually, I have fire bolts. I might be able to just quickly deal with him. Yeah, alright. So, that's dead end anyway. So, we kind of sometimes caution, and by sometimes I mean all the time, should always be held. And discretion is the better form of valor and all that stuff. You don't need to fight everything that you see. Ooh. And sometimes it's just better to ignore it. So, earlier we found that chaotic polymorphine potion. Something broke it. I don't know what, and I really don't want to find out. So I'm really hoping that I can just go down here and not have to deal with anything. We have another wand. This is normally a trap area with the metal and the metal wire coming down here into the ground. But whatever was here, the actual trap itself, which is usually in the ground right here, doesn't seem to be there anymore. So we're gonna go ahead and just snag this up and move along. Got another wand over here. Might as well take a quick peek at it. Nothing of value. Another guy over here. I'm definitely not doing what I said I should be doing, and that is just leaving. But I am a greedy person, and honestly, first stage, you can afford to be a little greedy. I mean, it's first stage. If you die, no big deal. Sometimes greed can be rewarding, but in most times, it's not worth it. Don't do as I say, not as I do, as I'm saying. So we're at the portal now. We have more than enough gold. We're gonna go ahead and go through. And now we have entered the safe place of Noita. Sort of safe place. Not really, because this place can still be just as dangerous as an actual area itself. This is the Holy Mountain. Inside the Holy Mountain, you will find a heart container, which will fully heal you and give you an additional 10 health. A spell refresher, which will refill all of your limited spells. So in this case, we only have the TNT. A shop that will either be for spells or wands. And the perks. So the reason, and the big reason why I suggested getting 400 to 600 gold is primarily for the perks. Sometimes you will have perks that are just not great options and you will want to re-roll them. In this case, I have a couple perks here that I really don't care for, honestly. I could go into a much larger video detailing perks, what are good, what are not good, and all that stuff. But to do that would be an entirely longer video, probably like close to 2 hours if I had to take a guess. Just right off the rip, which I would definitely do a video on perks and explaining them and what they do and all that junk. But for now, we're just gonna go ahead and re-roll. And we have an extremely good perk here in the form of Explosion Immunity. We also have Glass Cannon. Glass Cannon's funny. Your spells do 5 times damage, have increased explosive radius, but you only get 50 health. This is purely a funny meme perk. If you just want to go balls to the wall with something, by all means, go Glass Cannon. Glass Cannon is a very funny, very silly perk. But for the sake of teaching, we're going to go Explosion Immunity. Regardless if you are a new player or not, Explosion Immunity, or any immunity honestly, should be picked up without even a second thought. So now we have this shop. And we have all of the wands that we have picked up. And this is where the real meat of the game comes in. And this is the wand editing. So we're going to go ahead and put all of our spells up. And we're just going to take a quick peek through all of our wands. These are all basically identical wands. There's nothing one that's standing out above the other. Just kind of taking a quick glance at all of them. This wand right here is probably going to be our best one. So I'm going to move that to our primary slot is for our one. And then I can either put on one of the starting spells that we picked up, or I can buy something from the shop. Going into the second area, if you get a spell shop, and I'm going to give this as a very professional pro tip. If you get a spell shop going into the second area like I do here, if you see this spell specifically right here, Chain Bolt, grab it. This spell will carry you until like 3rd, 4th, 5th stage easily without even thinking on it. This is a decently costly spell, 80 mana, but it does an incredible amount of damage for how early you can get it. And it has auto tracking. So much so that I can aim all the way up here at this vine, as you can see here. And it will still hit the statue all the way down here. So it can curve around corners and everything else. So just that spell alone, without even trying to do anything else to it, is going to be more than enough for this next stage. So for that, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to go ahead and put this TNT wand on another wand as well, just to be safe. And these other 2 wands, there's nothing on them. I don't really care for them. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop them. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but we're going to do that. I'm going to make sure my water potion is refilled. And we're going to go ahead and head on over to the next stage. So for the next stage, the rundown of what we do is almost basically identical to the first stage. Be very cautious of where you're going. Try to find wands, try to find hearts, and see what you can find. Just be very cautious. Unlike the first stage though, I would definitely say for the second stage, explore as much as you can. The second stage can provide you with many great resources that the first stage cannot provide, and is a lot more open to exploration. On top of that, the second stage will lead to an additional secret area to the far left that we will go take a peek at. And that area can provide incredible rewards for those of you who take a peek into it. But we will get around to that stage when we come to it. In terms of notable enemies that are in the second stage, there's not too many that are so outlandishly out there that you have to be cautious of. Though there are going to be the introduction of enemies spawning nests, or just nests as you would say. They will spawn enemies endlessly if you do not deal with them. And they can cause a problem if you're trying to explore through an area. So, right here is an example. We're using our chain bolt. There's not any thoughts behind it. We're just letting it go. And an enemy in the general direction. There's gold in that fire, so I'm going to douse myself in water really quickly before we move down here. Kick that down. That was an explosive, by the way, so be very cautious of that. And you can see here, the chain bolt is just putting in the work that we need it to do without much thought. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get rid of this guy. This is toxic gas. It will do tick damage if you stay in it, so be careful of it. And as we was clearing the enemies down here, there was an enemy that did take a shot at us that was something that I kind of wanted to talk about in the first stage, but he never spawned. And there's definitely more enemies in the first stage that I would have liked to talk about, but they didn't spawn, and I really didn't want to talk about a potential enemy that you might see if we didn't see it ourselves and try to explain it. So I might, at the end of this, show examples, if I can find them in other runs, and clip them together at the end of the video. If not, I can do a separate video explaining purely early game enemies to keep an eye out for. But I'm just kind of exploring around, trying to find that guy that took a pot shot at me. He might not. Here he is. This is an enemy that you will find throughout the course of your run. Ooh, there's another enemy. Okay, so Shotgun Boy just fell down. Let's talk about this guy. So this is a spawner dude. I don't know the exact name of him. We're just gonna call him Purple Dad. And what he does, as you can see here, he is spawning little Flappy Boys. He can become a very quick problem if you are not able to deal with him quickly, because he will continue to keep spawning those little Flappy Boys, and they will run at you, and they will run at you. And if they get near you, they will smack you down. And if they smack you, say, like right here above this pit, they can stun you. If I can get this guy to smack me. See, like that. He can stun me. He can send me flying. And the idea of just getting launched down into something you haven't been ready to explore yet can lead to a lot of problems. Good grenade on him. So, they are melee focused. So if you have melee immunity instead of explosion immunity like I do, they are significantly less threatening because they just straight up can't hit you. But if you see them, be very cautious of them. Try to deal with them as quickly as you can. Specifically the big ones, because they will continue to spawn the little guys. And they can just cause you to get swarmed faster than you are expected. And can just lead to a bad time. So we're going to go ahead and head back down. We're going to go and see if we can find the Shotgun Boy that we ran into earlier. Hello. Oh, that's TNT Boy. There's another big spawny dude. Gonna go ahead and back over this way. And just keep taking pot shots with my chain bolt to deal with him. Dynamite Boy. Deal with him. I got caught on fire somehow. That's impressive. Keep going around. And we're at the bottom already. These early stages are not super long. Here's our boy right here. So, Shotgun Boy right here. You can find him in the first stage. We just did not run into them. He is a pretty dangerous enemy, all things considered, because of just how quickly he can burn through your health if you don't know how to dodge his attack. He does not have, by any means, a large amount of health. But it's more so just the amount of burst damage he can pump out like that. 28 damage from a point-blank shot like that. that can become very, very dangerous if you're dealing with them in close range, or if you're dealing with like 2 or 3 of them at once, which can happen. So, when you run into this guy, when you hear his gun rack like that, you want to not do what I did. You want to float up. When you hear the gun rack, float up. In most cases, when you do this, you will always dodge his attack. When he gets close like that, just get rid of him, because he's already nailed me with 2 full buckshots for the most part, and I've lost a lot of health just trying to explain that. But you can see just from him alone, I basically lost half my health here. I haven't been hit by really anything else in this stage other than a little bit of fire damage and 1 melee hit for an example of getting stunned. But this guy did basically 50 health and just 2 shots, so he can be extremely dangerous. So, here we have a spell shop in one of the stages. The spells in here and the spell shop, when you find them in the open stages like this, are significantly more expensive than you will find in the Holy Mountain. And you really should only take these spells if it has something extremely, extremely valuable here. So for me, honestly, passive energy shield here, pretty useful, pretty good. Gives you an extra shield for protection. I would say if you run into this, or even the half shield for the passive, definitely take a grab of it. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I can't put it on right now, obviously, because we're not in the Holy Mountain. But for the next stage, we can absolutely do that. And that is such a good find. So, we've hit the border on this side, and we've hit the border going down. So we're going to go ahead and head back up. And we're going to go ahead and fly on over to the left side. All the while, I want to keep an eye out for any resources that we can find. And be very cautious of enemies that we run into. Another dynamite man just fell down here. Just going to go ahead and try. Ooh. Okay, so that was a really good example of how you can get snuck up on. I did not see this guy above me. And anything that is above you is very scary because you cannot really see well above you. So, whenever you are exploring or trying to get to a new location, my recommendation, and that was honestly just a really good prime example, is head up before you go left or right. It is easier to fight enemies that are below you than they are above you. Basic high ground concept. We have another shotgun boy right here. He killed himself. Another spawner dude. We're just gonna slowly back away and take pot shots at him. Deal with him. Got another guy above me. Again, I could not see him. So we're gonna quickly get rid of him. And you can see just kind of how quickly, if you're not ready for it, you can get swarmed. We had a spawner guy, we had a shotgun guy, we had a bomber, we had a spitter, we had a lot of things just swarm us immediately. And that can really, really turn what would normally be just a normal encounter into something extremely dangerous. We found another one. We're gonna go ahead and pick that up. That has a lot of bombs on it, so very useful, but it does have fire trail, which I'm pretty sure will detonate those bombs instantly. So be very cautious about what wands you pick up before you shoot them. Gotta take a quick glance over them before you actually shoot them. Don't just wildly rip one out without ever really taking a peek at it, because you will, more often than not, die from doing something like that. It is shuffle, so there is a chance that it won't spawn the fire trail, but I'm not going to take that chance. So instead, we're just going to go on and move right along. So we are now at the top of the stage again. So now I know basically nothing can spawn above me. So, and this is going to be where I want to be. So whenever you're not sure about where you want to go or which way you want to head, go up first. Always go up first. Stay up before you move left or right. Good practice to keep in mind. And it's a good thing to just keep in note of. So I'm going to go ahead and kick this barrel down here. So the unfortunate thing with chain bolt is because it's not really a direct thing, you can't control which way it aims. It's not the greatest for hitting barrels like this. So we're just going to use our TNT here. Blow that up. Gonna go ahead and douse ourselves in water right here since it's right there. And slowly hover our way down. And here we have a puzzle. So every stage will typically have a puzzle. They can spawn puzzles. They might not always spawn them, but every stage will have a set of puzzles that they can spawn. This one is a fairly easy one. And the answer to it is actually pretty self-explanatory. We have back here on the engraving a cloud, and at the bottom we have a little bit of water. So just kind of taking a quick deductive reasoning, we can probably take a guess that this thing wants us to fill it with water. So we conveniently have our water potion, and we have a pile of water up there, or a puddle of water up there that we can go refill and bring back down as well. So we're just going to go ahead and do that really quickly. Now, as I said, you're not always going to have a puzzle like this to spawn, and sometimes you just won't be able to solve it because maybe you just, for some reason, don't have water or something like that. Sometimes it will require a different material that isn't water. Sometimes it could require something like oil or teleportanium, which is other materials that we haven't ran into yet. We've ran into oil. We haven't ran into teleportanium. But definitely be aware of the puzzles or the little contraptions that you can find out in the open world like this. Still not filled up. That's fine. We actually conveniently have some more water right here. We're gonna go ahead and fill this up. Got a bunch of guys down there. If I hadn't taken a guess, that is a nest spawn down there. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and keep filling this up. And it should... is hopping. Why is it not? Interesting. Go ahead and fill up with more water then, I guess. It's not actually gonna pop. Am I gonna be made a fool of here? Have I been lying to you? Huh. That's weird. Maybe I'm wrong on this puzzle. If I'm wrong, that's gonna be really awkward. Okay, you will typically find these kind of things. This is supposed to proc, I would assume, when you fill this up, but for some reason it's not doing so, and I guess I'm stupid, I'm missing something here. If I had to take a guess, it actually does want the rain cloud, but I don't know. Well, regardless, when you see these puzzles, if you can figure out their contraption and how to solve them, you will be rewarded with a wand that will spawn above it right here if it would have worked. I don't know why it's not working. This was filled. Maybe I'm stupid, like I said. Maybe this wants oil. Maybe this is one of those contraptions that wants oil, but who's to say? But we're just going to go ahead and ignore that. Kind of just wasted our time. And I was made a fool of. Okay, I'm used to it. We're going to go ahead and head on down. We got some toxic gas, so steer clear of it. Head over here. And we have another one. We actually have what looks like to be a decent one. A lot of triplicate bolts. Not a shuffle. Has an always cast on it, which I'm not a fan of this always cast. But because this is shuffle, and because this is a no shuffle, and I know none of these things can hurt me, I could just take a quick peek at it. Not terrible. Definitely not a terrible one. You can actually probably get good use out of it. So, we have another no shuffle one with a bunch of dynamite on it. It's a little spooky because of the sparkle bounce, but it should be workable. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of the bombs over it because it's just another non-shuffle. And honestly, having non-shuffle ones will always be better than having shuffle ones. Kind of exploring around still. Gonna try to get to this other area over here that I explained. We have a shotgun boy over here. So remember from before. If he takes a pot shot at me, which he will not. He was also from a range, so he was definitely in a more safer spot. But you never know. He could take a leap of fate at us. Well, okay. So, with that, we have an example of something that is very dangerous. Enemies can pick up wands that are in the field. As you saw with that man, this was a wand pedestal. He immediately grabbed it and started taking pot shot at us. Thankfully, what he picked up was a short range wand by the looks of it. So he is actually pretty fine. But now I have to be wary of an enemy in the field that has a wand. So, be very cautious about when you see an enemy with a wand. Even if you have a wand. Oh, hello. Even if the wand that you know the enemy has is not dangerous, you still need to be cautious of it. And a good thing to keep in mind is you really just don't want an enemy dealing with a wand that maybe you have to leave behind because you swapped out for another one. I'll actually use it here for an example. If you want to... Oh, hold on. I'm being fucking overloaded with stuff right now. If you want to put a wand somewhere where an enemy absolutely cannot get it, when you click and drag it out of your inventory, hug up against the ceiling and let it go. In most cases, an enemy will not grab it from the ceiling. They will not jump up to grab it. So if you absolutely need to put a wand somewhere safe and you really don't want an enemy grabbing it, you click and drag it to drop it out of your inventory, hug up against the ceiling. And in most cases, it'll get lodged up there, and you personally can come back and retrieve it whenever you want to. So, if we come over here, assuming this guy is still here, he is still here, we have a very, very dangerous enemy here. This guy is called Robocop. That's what many people call him. I will call him that as well. He can only spawn, in the first couple of stages at least, over here in this stage, all the way over here that we was just bordering on, where we found the man that picked up a wand, and I don't know where he went. But if we come in here, we've now entered our location. Oh, that's not good. I am getting swarmed with everything, and I'm trying to explain things, and everything's happening all at once. That's not good. So, the area that we was just in was called the Fungal Caverns. The Fungal Caverns, as you saw, has a lot of things in it, and a lot of them are very dangerous. We found a second Robocop. We found this man right here, Mr. Teleporting Dickhead, that you saw when he hit me, started making me teleport all over the place randomly. I guess since he is here, we'll explain him first. This guy is extremely dangerous. As you saw, when he shoots you, he will cause you to teleport into random locations. I don't think I need to explain that, but it is very dangerous when you're exploring around and teleporting in random locations. There is a way to deal with him if you do get accidentally shot and go into a random location. God damn it, there is so many of them. See, this is why we have the chain bolt. Chain bolt makes this a little bit easier. If we have a good amount of damage, we can quickly deal with them if they get near us. Yeah, he teleported over here. So, if you get hit by one of those guys and you start teleporting, the best thing that you can do... We can deal with him really quickly. Nope, he's teleporting. He's being teleported McAndy. I'm trying to deal with him so he doesn't come up behind me. Oh my lord. Homie, please. Just work with me. Thank you. If you get hit by a teleporting bolt by one of these guys, the best thing that you can do is go back while looking in a direction that you came from while going in that direction. So, when I was over here, I got shot. I immediately turned my aim to go this way and started walking back this way. And what this did was it sent me all the way back here, which was a place that I know I had already cleared. So long as you do not panic when you get hit by them and you go aim in a direction that you know you have cleared with like 100% certainty and you know there's basically nothing there that could be a danger to you, you shouldn't be fine. If you get hit and you start panicking and flinging your mouse all over the place like this, how I am, you have no idea where you're going to get teleported to, and you can get teleported into something even more dangerous than you already are in. So, this guy had a wand. Nothing great, nothing special. So we're going to go ahead and ignore it. Actually, just because I don't want an enemy coming over here, especially a teleporting boy, coming over to grab it, we're going to do what I just said. We're just going to grab it in the ceiling, pick up our other one, and now nothing should come up and grab this. But if for whatever reason I wanted it, I can just come up, snag it. So, really useful tip to have right there. Good to know. Now, let's head back down. I want to be extremely cautious now when I go to explain this next enemy, because we only have 37 health. Maybe we can find the one that we had, the one that we had before. before in the water, but probably not. Huh. If I can just get him on the screen. If I can find my way out of here. Which I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm in like a really awkward spot here. Did I actually like teleport into a closed off area completely? That'd be funny if I did. Oh, another teleporty ball. I want to very, very cautious. Because I don't know where he is. Can very quickly end my existence. Gonna actually just try to get a pot shot at him. Oh! Oh, no, 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 no! That is a good example of what I mean. By you could get teleported into a dangerous place. I got hit once by a teleporty boy. And I was sent to the Shadow Realm, basically, in front of a Robocop. So, I wanted to continue to go on. But that's actually just a very prime example there of not being cautious. I should have just left him. I shouldn't have even tried to engage on him. He didn't even hit me. It was his teleporting blood that got me. And we ended up in that situation. I can actually maybe pull it up. Yeah. You can see here. He didn't even hit me. It was the teleporting blood. So he bleeds teleportanium when he gets hit. It covered me. And I got shot down this way. And I ended up in a bad spot. So we're going to go ahead and do another game here. Keeping in mind everything that I have taught you already. So first off the thing. Spark bolts. Unstable. Potion of acid. That's not water. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. So even more experienced players like myself, we can still run into situations where we're just not ready for it, and it can end our run in an instant. That is not a new player only thing. Anyone can fall into victim of something just so simple that can lead into a chain reaction of bad things. So here we are again at the start of a new world. I'm going to go ahead and kind of speed this one on along a little bit more. Hopefully we can find some of the special enemies that I wanted to talk about beforehand. We have water again in the modifier. That's certainly interesting. I don't have any mods on, if you're curious. I don't have like a seed picker mod on, so that's just really awkward that we got that back to back. But I am not complaining. This is actually one of the more useful ones because you can find water very quickly. So, once again, same primary goal as last time. Find water, find wands, find health where we can. Fill ourselves up right here. And we have a conveniently little item down here that I want to go and try to snag if I can. So, we have a shotgun boy. If we deal with him. If I can find a way down in this room, that would be nice, but that's also a bit on the spooky side given where it is. Okay, so I wanted this item specifically because this is a electric rock, Ukoskavi. This small rock will make you feel charged. This is a very special and unique item in that it will, while you are holding it, everything that is around you that can get electrified or conduct electricity will start pulsing it, as you can see here. This is a very useful item to have. Because when you have a situation like this where you have water everywhere, this item can basically carry you through a stage, which is very useful. But on top of that, while you are holding this item, you may have noticed it, you are completely immune to electricity. This can be very, very good to have. But it's only while you're holding it. If I put it away, and this water was still electrifying, I could take damage from it. I have to have the stone out. Very useful to know, very useful to have if you can find it. There is... Hey, buddies. I'm gonna tease you a little bit. I'm gonna do a little bit of cheesing right here. Some water up in there. Push the water through. Push the water through the surface. Let them die by accident. And get all of the money in the world for it. So, as I said, we had a pretty unfortunate run. And I thought about ending the video right there and just restarting it, but we're just going to keep going on. I thought about it. Because shit happens. That's just the way of Noita. Sometimes you get really unfortunate set of circumstances that happen that make it really, really awkward. But, like I said, this is a live com. This is purely to show you that things can happen and how you can best circumvent it. So we have another one here. This is actually a pretty decently starting one, actually. Oh yeah, that's a real good one. A vomit of bullets really early on. Looking for that guy. He doesn't stand a chance. So, I'm not going to explore this first stage as much as I did last time, just because this first one alone is going to will be enough to get me through the next couple stages. And I want to get back to where I was in the second stage without dragging this video along more than it already probably will be. So, go ahead and just grab a couple more video kills. A little bit more gold. I'm not gonna aim for the 400 gold like I said I would. As I said, do as I say, not as I do. But I am gonna come over here and I will explain tablets. So, I didn't do this the first time through here because we just didn't really come over this way. But as you explore the world of Noita, you will run into, every now and again, a tablet. These tablets are physical objects similar to the minecarts that you can kick around, similar to the wheelbarrows that you can kick around. If I drop this down, you can see I can kick it and it will go around. It is something that you can pick up, as you can clearly see, and you can throw it. This item does physics damage, and if you throw it at an enemy, it can potentially give you accidental kills, which is, as I've showed before, double money if you do it, or if you kill someone accidentally through a method of your own means, that is not of your own direct influence, I should say, and can be very, very useful. So maybe we can do it right here with this zombie doggo. Nope, he jumped down this way. Grab him. Yeet. Yep, like that. And you saw it did over 400 damage there. I go ahead and slow this down. You can see right here. Very bottom of the screen. 487 damage. Physics damage is very strong. If you find a tablet, it is very useful. And speaking of the tablet, since we grabbed it over here, in the first stage, you will find the lava lake. This lava lake, it does lead somewhere. I will not just show you where though, but do understand that the lava lake is large enough where you cannot fly over it like this. If you were to try to just fly over it, you would not make it. However, I will give you a hint on how to cross it. This is all you're going to get from me on the lava lake. Explore of your own will, but be cautious of what you find. So, we got ourselves a nice little wand. Like I said, I'm not going to go out of my way to find the 400 gold. We're just going to go ahead and get back in here. Try to get back to where he was. Just going to grab this, going to grab that. Another got us another spell shop. I'll grab the multicast just for the shits and giggles. We have electricity. You're immune to electrical damage, but metals and liquids around you will constantly electrify. That is basically what the Uko Stone does. But now, we don't need to hold it. So, that's fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and move on out. And I'm not gonna do any of the, like, super hard exploration. Little art. That was a large one. That was 50. Nice. I'm not gonna do super heavy exploration, because I want to get back to that stage over here and explain it, because there was a lot of stuff over there that I wanted to explain that we couldn't do it because we got just swarmed with all sorts of stuff. So we're gonna be a little bit faster this time around. We're just gonna go straight over this way. That guy's shotgun bolt by hovering up. I heard the rack. I held up and I was able to dodge it pretty cleanly. No issues there at all. Again, I'm making sure that I'm staying up where I can. Trying to keep myself doused in either water or blood. Blood works just as well. I'm also now getting rid of any explosives I see because electricity can proc it. It can pulse out to the barrels and stuff and cause them to detonate. I'm not explosion immune this time around, so I have to actually be a little bit wary of them. But let's make our way over to a very convenient situation we have here. So, this is a situation that I was not expecting to run into. I was hoping to, but I didn't plan for it. But here we are, so we have it. So, here we have a chest submerged in water. Now, if you're a new player, your instinct is to just run over there and grab that chest. And, you know, it's a chest. It has loot. It could have gold. It could have some hearts. It could have a wand. It could have a bunch of things. You know, that's really good. However, it could also have an Uko Stone. One of these electric stones. Now, as I've shown you before, and as I'm doing right now currently, because of electricity, this stuff conducts water. You know, electricity, you know, it does that. And these things can spawn in the chest. If you see a chest submerged in water, it has a chance to spawn this. If it spawns an Uko Stone, and you're in water when you open that chest, you will instantly die. If you ever see a chest submerged in water, if you do not have electricity immunity of some kind like I do, kick it out of the water. Get it out of the water. Do not open it. Do not open it in water. Get it out on dry land before you open it. This is in toxic sludge, so it's still in water. I'm trying to play this safe. It is on fire. I am just trying to chase a chest down somewhere. I don't know where it went. But it's out of the water, so... I'm going to assume something down here. I've opened it and it was gold. Or maybe it went this way. Got another one. Nice. Where did that chest actually go? I actually don't know. Regardless, I think it did open. I think it was that small batch of gold that was right there. If you see a chest and it's in water, kick it out of the water. Get it out. Ow, ow, ow. Ow. You see a chest, get it out of the water. You can see here that I myself am a professional at this game. Not really. I'm making very silly, common mistakes. So, we had a toxic sludge here. A bunch of it, diluted it with water. Go ahead and run in here. Decent set of spells. Gonna go ahead and snag that up for our starter one. And we're at the bottom again. I'm still trying to explore over to the left, so I want to head back up. Maybe the chest actually flung over this way. It could still be open. Nope. Okay. The chest definitely opened up somewhere down here. It might have been just a bunch of gold. So, unfortunate that I couldn't open it up myself, but stuff happens, you know. You can't really control stuff a lot of times. Did not expect it to get just flung as hard as it did. Fly our way back up. Over this way. Have a barrel there that could possibly get detonated. I'm on fire, so I'm gonna submerge down here in the water. Get rid of that guy. There's a little bit of water in. And I believe I'm still fairly close to the surface of the world. I am. We have a special enemy over here. Not him. That guy's stinky lame-o butts that when you shoot him, he explodes to random stuff. You have this guy. So, this is a beta branch exclusive enemy. I am on the beta branch, by the way. Honestly, I have not figured out what these guys do exactly. They just kind of pulse out something. There's a few of them. I don't know what all of them do, but the purple one doesn't seem to do anything as far as I'm aware. Not immediately, at least. So just shoot into him until he dies. I'm sure there is something that he does that I need to be cautious of, but I haven't figured it out yet. So here we are. So we are back into the place that I wanted to explore you, the fungal caverns. So the fungal caverns, as you saw last time, is a very dangerous place. It had teleporty boys, it had robot cops, it had a mix of bunch of stuff that just led to a bad situation that just led me to dying instantly. If you are a new player, honestly, I would personally just advise being very cautious of this area and very, very carefully just take a peek inside. Do not go deep inside. Do not explore this place because you can saw just how quickly shit went south for me. Take a peek inside. If there is a wand or item that you can quickly grab, by all means, run in to grab it really fast. Otherwise, just don't come into this place. It is a very, very scary place. I would say if you have over, I would say 60 health, you could probably take a peek in there, explore a bit. I have 80 health right now, so I might take a small little snippet of a peek in here, see if I can find anything. But I'm primarily gonna want to stay on the border here. I don't want to go deep in like that. I am just taking a small peek, only going a few paces forward. I am mostly just finding a bunch of potions. I will take the Berserkium. There's a blinding boy, which we did not run into last time. He is another wizard that you can find in here. His whole ordeal is when he hits you, he blinds you, meaning you can't see shit. He is arguably just as scary as Teleporty Boy. Probably even more so if I had to honestly say so. Because at least with Teleporty Boy, you can somewhat control where you go. With Blindy Boy, you're kind of up to whatever decides to swarm in on you when you're blind. So, so far, we are not really finding anything. Oh. This guy is a bit thick. If you get near him, the big Squidward dude, he can freeze you, and then he will immediately melee you. Freeze melee is basically a guaranteed one-shot kill if you don't have melee immunity. So be very, very cautious of that. I have a heart container here, but I don't have a way to really get to it. Not effectively, at least. Definitely playing cautious with this and trying to dig with unstable crystals, which is probably not the most ideal thing to do, but we did down some Berserkium as well, which is also not ideal, but hey, here we are. So, taking as I said, we're just taking a peek into the entrance, the border. We have a nest here, so I want to get rid of this as soon as I can. A nest will spawn enemies infinitely, so definitely get rid of it when you see them, if you can. See here, I'm playing rather sloppily. I'm getting hit by a lot of things that I don't need to get hit by. Nothing here. Slowly edge my way down. Oh, we have a RoboCop down here. More concerned about this nest right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of this. And down there, we had a RoboCop, so I'm gonna see if I can get rid of him with this. I think I nailed him. Looks like I did. I absolutely did, but there's another crystal down there, so I really don't want to jump down there for that. I have a wand right here. Oh, okay. That was another wizard. If I can quickly show that really fast. So, this wizard right here, this blue boy hiding in all of the purple boys, is a swapper wizard. As you saw when I hit him, as we play along this GIF, when I hit him, I swapped places with him. Very scary sometimes, depending on where he is at the time. Best way to deal with him, if you do see him, is just try to find a way to one-shot him if you have a way to one-shot him. Otherwise, just be very cautious when you're spamming shots at him like I was. Because he can very easily lead you to a situation, kind of similar to the teleport boy, where you're just put between a rock and a hard place, essentially. So, we have a wand right here, but I really don't want to dig out for it, because I really don't want to explore this place more than I have to in my current state, especially as a newer player, if I was a newer player. So, we're just gonna ignore it. Kill those rats, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump on in. Refill our water right here. Go ahead and grab our health and our spell refresher. This time we have a wand shop, and we have perks again. This time we have exploding corpses. Enemies explode on death, but grant immunity to explosive damage. This is just another form of explosive immunity, so we're gonna go ahead and take that. There are quite a few perks that are not just straight up explosion immunities that are just saying like, hey, you are immune to this. So last run we had a perk called Explosion Immunity, which was pretty self-explanatory. We were immune to explosives. This time we got Exploding Corpses, which also grants us explosive immunity. And Electricity also gives us electricity immunity. So there are quite a few perks like that that are just not straight up saying like, hey, you're immune to this. But you also do still have the perks that are just like fire immunity, toxic immunity, electric immunity. Then you have extra perks like that. So if you see these perks, kind of like these, that give you additional effects on top of the immunity, definitely look into grabbing them. So we have a wand shop this time around. We're going to go ahead and take a quick peek at everything. This one's not terrible. Has a pretty decent stat layout. I think I actually will go ahead and take that one. I know I'm not going to be using the Gigasol Blade, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of them. And now, we have another thing that can help any new player, and probably the biggest thing to help a new player. And that is a trigger spell. So, oops. So a trigger spell is arguably one of the most important things to learn how to use in Noita, especially if you're new to the game. So what a trigger spell does is a spark bolt will cast another spell upon collision. These timers act very similar to the same way, but we're going to focus on triggers for now. And what this does is when this hits a wall or an enemy or anything really, it will spawn whatever is following it. So for the sake of this example, I'm going to use an unstable crystal here. So when I shoot this, it'll shoot a spark bolt. Go ahead and put this down. It'll shoot the spark bolt like that. And then, when it hits a wall, or the statue, or anything really, it will follow that up with the unstable crystal. As we see here in this example, like so. This is extremely useful. We're not going to use it. We're not going to use the unstable crystal proper for this thing. But that was for demonstration purposes. But a trigger can be extremely, extremely powerful. How powerful, you might ask? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other wands here. See if we can grab anything to put on top of it. Got some bombs. We got missiles. We got Lumi drills. We got some fireballs. So we have a lot of limited stuff. So we don't have a ton of options here. But we can put a spark bolt, double spell, a second double spell, and then we'll do 3 spark bolts, bouncing bursts here. And now, when we shoot this spell, we'll shoot a spark bolt with trigger, which will grab this double spell. The first selection of this double spell will be another double spell. This double spell will grab 2 spells, so 1, 2. This one still has one that needs to grab, because it'll only grab this one first. So it'll grab its second one here, so it'll shoot 3. And when we shoot the statue now with this, we shit out a good amount of damage. This can be extremely powerful in the right circumstances, and should be used whenever it is presented to you. Triggers should not be underestimated. They are extremely, extremely powerful. However, this kind of trigger right now, this setup for it at least, is not the greatest. And honestly, just tanking this one that we had before with the vomit of damage like that is arguably right now just going to be better. So we are just going to go ahead and do that. We're going to put these away. And I'm going to go ahead and put the unstable crystal back on. I don't need these ones. They are useless to me. They don't have anything on them, and I don't want to put anything on them, honestly. We're just going to run with this. And we're going to go into the final stage of what I'm going to kind of talk about in the early stages. And how to kind of be a little bit more cautious. So, go ahead and enter. As we enter the snowy depths. So the snowy depths will play a little bit differently than the other 2 stages. And the big difference between this stage and the other 2 stages that we've gone through is Snowy Depths is significantly more open than the other 2 stages. Like, I'm talking much more open. As you can see here, just big open chasms, a lot of area to move around in, but not a lot of cover. Meaning shots like these guys can just lob things and hit you from across the screen. This is definitely a different take at the other stages that we've ran into or we've gone through, and can be a bit of a jump from what people are used to. But a lot of the rules that we did from the past stages still apply here. If you're wanting to explore left and right, stay up and keep yourself doused in water or blood as much as you can, because there are explosives in this stage. Not a lot, but there is some. And just be very cautious as you go along. So, on top of that, as soon as I can kick this boy out of here, because I want to. Get out of here. On top of that, the 3rd stage will start to introduce more and more thick, tanky enemies. Most notably, this guy right here. This is a sentry bot. These guys will snipe you across the map. I wish I was joking about that, but they will snipe you across the map. They are also a mechanical enemy, and this will be kind of the first introduction, really, of different types of enemies and what they are weak to. So, a mechanical enemy, in this case, this little sentry bot, will actually not take a lot of damage from just basic projectile shots like this. However, they will take a lot of damage from electricity-based damage. So, for example, if I were to, I don't know, let's just say, because I conveniently have the perks for it, if I was just to, say, douse this guy over here in a little bit of water, and just kind of come near him like this, he basically died in 1 pulse. I had to shoot him a little bit more, but he basically died in 1 pulse of damage. Can I actually get it? Yeah. Instant 70 damage because he was very weak to electricity. This is going to be the start of enemies that you will need to kind of be a little bit more thoughtful on certain enemies, on what they're weak to, and try to exploit them as much as you can if you have the available tools for it. So we're gonna go ahead and just keep trucking along here. I'm gonna see if we can kind of get through here. This might just be a dead end, honestly. It is. I just wasted a crystal for no reason. So we're gonna go ahead and cautiously head downwards. Okay. Thank you, friends. I appreciate you too. Those were some glue boys. Okay. Okay, so we're starting to get a little bit of the horde mentality going on in these stages. But going back to the glue boys, they aren't too crazy. They just pretty short range on them, but if they do hit you, they will glue you and make you really hard to move, kind of like slime will. Now, what we do need to talk about is this man right here. This is the sniper Hisi. This guy will snipe you across the map. Quite literally, he is a sniper Hisi. We actually have two of them. Ow. We have two of them, actually, that are taking pot shots at us. He can be a very dangerous enemy, and he will very likely be one of the many causes of your run ending here in the third stage. Primarily reason being, he can hit you off map, off stage, off screen, whatever you want to call it. The best way to deal with him is definitely stay near cover as much as you can. If you see that red line pop up, if I can find him again and he can take a pot shot at me again. Not showing up. I don't know which way he went. He might have got nicked by something else. But if you see that red line, try to drop down into cover. And if you're in a big open spot like this, I want to say very similar to the shotgun Hisi, just hold up and you should dodge his shot. He will do a lot of damage though from a long distance. So definitely be very, very aware of him. I would say the two biggest dangers that you're going to have going into the third stage in this area is going to be the sniper Hisis that we ran into and the sentry bots. Those are going to be the two big jumps of difficulty that you're going to have to deal with because they are both enemies that can hit you off stage, off screen. There is another pretty dangerous enemy that you can run into. Though honestly, his danger isn't as bad. If we run into them, I'll explain how to deal with him. But he is nowhere near the danger level of an enemy that can hit you off screen. So maybe we can find a sniper Hisi boy again. But so far, I'm not finding much luck. Have a wand up here. As always, check out wands when you find them. No shuffle, decent little things. Summon rock spirits. Sure, we'll take it. Decent little wand. Nothing crazy, nothing special. Nothing terrible though. And we're going to go ahead and make our way towards the right. So we have a shotgun Hisi boy here. We got a couple of jetpack Hisis, one with a nade and one with a gun. Just stay moving, you should be fine. Grenade launcher dudes can be pretty easy to dodge, though they do a lot of damage if they hit you. Shocker there. They can't really hit you off screen as regularly as, say, the sniper Hisi boys can. Go ahead and change that out for this guy. But they can be dangerous. Again, we have an example here. They were above me. I want to stay on level with them if possible, or get above them. You never want to fight enemies when you're underneath them if you can avoid it. Stay up towards the top of the map as much as we can. We got another sniper Hisi here. He can shoot through surfaces a little bit, by the way, so be very cautious of that. And at a closer range like that, he can hit you even if you are holding up. He is actually ripping me a new one, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of him. But you can quickly see just how quickly this guy can make your day really just not fun. I didn't really have cover as well either. I was pretty closest range to him. His projectile is very fast, as you saw. So when you get into close range with that, the best thing you can do is just hopefully wail into him. Again, close range. I don't want to deal with him. I'm just going to get rid of him. I'm not even going to try to hide away. And move along. Now, I actually almost glanced over this right here. Get into this. Okay. So right here, we have another puzzle here. This puzzle I cannot actually do, but this is the eye puzzle. This can spawn in the third area. If you were to have a potion of teleportanium or unstable teleportanium, either one will work. If you fill the center of this eye with that specific liquid, it will spawn a portal that will take you somewhere to get some more supplies, some more wands, some more spells, stuff like that. I don't have it, so I can't obviously do the puzzle, but that is something to kind of, keep an eye out for. Another sniper he sees somewhere. Seems like he is all the way on the other side of the map right here. So from this distance, I can easily dodge his shots by just holding up. Oh, see, like that, he shot through the very top of the ice mound. But from this distance, I can easily dodge his shot by holding up, similar to the shotgun he sees. But if he's closer range, like I would say might be like from here to where my cursor is, anywhere like closer than this, he will probably hit you even if you are holding up on the keypad. Or arrow keys, whatever you might be playing with. So, as we come over here, I will show you one last little secret before we start heading back down into the snowy depths. So, from the third stage, the snowy depths, which is where we are in, if you come all the way to the right, you will find this large open area with a large amount of rock and extremely dense rock. If you come all the way over here, you will find a floating platform here. And then another one all the way up here. And this will lead you to a rock wall that you can climb. And you can climb this for a decent amount of while, all the way up to a top to something. Again, I will let you explore this on your own time. But understand that this big opening is here, and it does lead somewhere, and can possibly open up some different opportunities for you. Something to look into on your own time. With that being said, let's go ahead and head on back over to the snowy depths and explore around some more, and maybe we'll find some more enemies. We have something that just took a laser at us. So the blue laser that you just saw is another sentry bot, similar to the Gatling one that we found earlier at the very start of the stage. This is another sentry bot down here. However, this one is a little bit more dangerous, I would say, for slightly different reasons. So, this guy has the same weakness as the first guy did, the first Gatling one that we did, where water plus electricity will basically make it so that he just doesn't do anything. However, one thing with this guy, if you don't have this option for you, and the same thing with the other guy, is as long as you are hovering around and going like in a clockwise manner around him, ignoring the explosive barrel, he won't really ever take a chance to shoot you, as you can see here. I can kind of just keep doing this over and over and over again. Just kind of doing this clockwise motion around him. And he should never really get a chance to shoot me because he can't really lock onto me quick enough. Oh, where'd he go? Friend? Hey, friend, I was explaining stuff. You need to come back. Friend, where did you go? There he is. I found him. I'm gonna deal with this guy first. But, as we said, So long as I have this like clockwise motion around him as I go around, he really shouldn't ever get a chance to shoot me. Now, he is actually stuck in water, so I'm just going to throw that Ukos down there. I know he's in water. Come down here. Grab all the gold. Grab my Ukos stone again. And we'll head back up. Head back up, head back up, head back up. Always go up before you go left or right. Definitely one. Always, always, always go up before going left and right. It is better to have the high ground. Going to a new place that you haven't checked out yet. Okay! This is actually really convenient. So, this was the other enemy that I mentioned that could possibly give people difficulty. This is, if he comes back over here, I'm actually going to go ahead and do this. So you can keep myself around. This is the EC CEO, is what people call him. Let me go ahead and turn my volume, because this is very loud combat music. So this is the EC CEO. So for him himself, he is basically just another grenader dude. He will lob a giant grenade at you that if it does hit you, it will do a lot of damage. That is already pretty scary enough, but that's not the main threat that he has. The main threat that he has is as you shoot him and as you deal damage to him, he will call for backup, essentially. He will spawn more Hisi dudes. They can be either gunners or grenade launcher dudes. And so he can be very dangerous because he can quickly cause you to get swarmed if you're not ready for him. Now, conveniently, I have exploding corpses, so as long as I kill one guy, basically all of them are going to die because of the explosion for how closely packed they're going to be. But if you see this guy, your best thing that you can do more than ever than anything else that I've mentioned is you want to get above him and you want to try to stay as far away from him as possible while taking pot shots at him. So I'm going to try to get on level with him, get away as far as I can from him. He got a pot shot on me. I'm going to try to lob my shots a little bit at him as if he is off screen. I think I might have got him. Nope, he's down there. Fine. He's coming my way. That's fine. He does lob 2 grenades at you at once, as you saw there. Ow. And that guy hit me with his own grenade. So you can see, very quickly can rack up damage. I'm at 41 health already. But overall, he isn't the worst thing that you could really run into. I would say the snipers and the Gatling guns are a lot more scarier because they can deck you from off screen. But overall, not too bad. Here we have, right above me as well, this little glowy boy right here. He is another wizard. Similar to what we found in the fungal caverns, we found a bunch of different wizards. This guy is another wizard. His gimmick, as with all wizards, is that if he were to hit you, I'm not going to let him hit me because I'm really low on health. But if he were to hit you, actually, no, yeah, fuck it, hit me. I should be fine. If he hits you, he will cause you to be basically silenced. If you were to play an RPG from other games, he will hit you with silence. And what this does is your wands no longer work. You have no way to cast spells. Overall, believe it or not, he is not actually the worst wizard to run into, just because he's kind of, while he is detrimental, he is not a killer, and that makes sense comparatively to, say, the teleport guy or the blinder. While this guy can put you in a situation where, like, oh, if I'm not able to shoot, I'm going to be in a bad position. I mean, that's always going to be the case. But he can't put you in a position where, how would I say this? He can't put you in a position that will make it so that you're kind of turbo fucked, if that makes sense, I guess. With the teleport guy, if he hits you and he hits you with a teleportation thingy, you can teleport into the middle of a horde and you will die no matter what, really. If you get hit with blinding, you can't see what's coming, so you could get suddenly swarmed. With this guy, if he gets you and he makes it so that you can't shoot anymore, it's whatever. You know which way is the safe way. You know how to get out of a situation. So if there was, so in this situation right here, he was right here. If he hit me, it's like, oh, he hit me. I can't fight back, but I know I just cleared this area going this way. I can just fly my way over here, and I would be fine. And his debuff is only like 12 seconds. It's not super long, really, on the grand scheme of things. So he's not anywhere near as dangerous as some of the other wizards. He's still very scary. Definitely play cautious around him. But you don't need to play, like, with the utmost caution, if that makes sense. So, definitely be aware of any wizard that you come into. All of them do something slightly different and can be really scary, depending on the situation. Every enemy can be. But, yeah. So, we're running low on health. We're at 34 HP. We are definitely, at this stage, at this low health in this stage, we are 100% in kill range of just about anything. So this is around the time where I would say if you get below 40-50 health in the third stage, your primary goal at this point should be to get out. Get out and get to the heart in the Holy Mountain. So we're going to play very, very cautiously. Take very slow edges towards newer location. Back up any way that we can when we have any kind of engagement. I want to try to stay up, but I do need to head down, so we're gonna slowly make our way over. Especially here in the third area, before you go over into... I thought I heard a shotgun boy. Maybe I'm mishearing. Paranoid. Before you take peeks over into big open areas, just kind of hover up a bit. Especially like in an open area like this, because there could be a chain gun boy over here. There could be a sneaky off screen that you can't see. So if you see a red laser, it's a good way to take precautions as you go forward. I didn't see anything, so we should be fine to go along. We have a drop here. This is definitely on the spookier side of things, so be very cautious before you drop. Take kind of like quick dips to see if a laser or anything kind of locks onto you. Doesn't look like anything is down here, so I can kind of take a drop down. There was a shotgun boy. Shotgun boy could have done a lot of damage to me. He would not have killed me if he hit me with everything, but I should have been fine regardless. And here we are at the portal to the next Holy Mountain. So, as we come over here, we'll grab our heart, grab our container refill, check the wands, see if there's anything special going on. And we check our perks. We actually have a decent one right here in the form of homing shots. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And with that, I'm actually going to go ahead and take a pause right here. So this was just me going through the early stages of Noita. The next stage is CC Base, which I will make its own dedicated video on following this one, because CC Base is a very large difficulty jump for many players. And this one has already been going on for well over an hour and a half. This length of a run, well, this is actually 2 different runs. I did forget that I did die, but hopefully this little video, or not little, this hour and a half long video of 2 separate different runs explains to you some of the early things that you should be keep an eye out for, and some of the early enemies that you should definitely be wary of. This was by no means like clean. This was by no means what's the word I'm looking for? Straightforward or coherent, because there's definitely a lot of things that I could have talked about that I didn't. And I will definitely be making more detailed videos going forward. Specifically over like wands, spells, combinations of things, the perks, all that kind of stuff, mechanics of the game, and various other means. And I'm definitely aware that this first entry into this series, it's not going to be the greatest. I know it won't be, but hopefully you can take away honestly anything from this to help you get along in this world of Wizardry and Noita. This game is, honest to God, very fun, but it is very brutally punishing, and it does not teach you a lot. I like to honestly equate it a lot to, say, Dark Souls and something where they kind of just give you the basic and just let you out into the world. You kind of have to figure out everything on your own. This game's very similar to that, but hopefully the very starting stuff of this would give you a lot of good ideas on what you should and shouldn't look out for, what you should and should not do, and hopefully in the future I can give more detailed explanations of stuff. I'm definitely going to be new to this for a while, but I have a lot of things I do want to talk about with this game, a lot of information that I want to share, because this game is very fun, and I do honestly God enjoy teaching people. It's one of my personal favorite things to do. It's one of the more enjoyable things I like doing. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys very, very much for watching this video. Again, I probably rambled a lot during this, and I probably passed over things I probably should have detailed a little bit more. If there is something that you would specifically like me to talk about, maybe the wands, maybe spells, maybe certain spells that you don't quite understand, stuff like that, let me know in the comments below. If you have any suggestions on how I could make this series more enjoyable for you as a viewer, let me know as well. And until next time, this has been Crazed. Happy Noiting. Have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Drink water. Give your loved ones hugs and kisses, whoever they might be, and all that other junk. And in the next episode, we will specifically talk about the Hisi base, as I said, because Hisi base is definitely a stage of all time. And a lot of people have trouble with it, especially newer players. Even some more experienced players like myself can sometimes have troubles with it, but I hope to make it more manageable. So anyway, with that being said, rambling on, you guys have a good day, and I will talk to you guys next time. Take care of yourselves.